Okay, so what is VCEL as a whole? This is the video following the last episode of writing some software, and I just wanted to talk about the idea of what it is from like before we get in coding. Like, let's just talk about the process or the logic of what VCEL is, right? So you're gonna have a relationship, right, with somebody, right? Hopefully, man and woman, right, or person A, person B, right? But let's just say man and woman for this example, right? Fee man and man. So a man and woman come together and they generate a relationship, right? Now the idea is the generation event of this like might mint a token or something like that. Now we'll call this like VCEL coin, right? Or whatever it ends up being, right? Now I don't fully I haven't worked out the tokenomics, but long story short, I can on the back end, this is what I could do is do a hold contract for Bitcoin, right? And just literally let's pretend it costs like $10 a month to use VCEL. I could take that $10 or $20 from these two people, and then I can swap it out for Bitcoin, burn the token, or maybe I'll instantiate an initial supply. I'll have to figure out the tokenomics, but I would really like to basically sell or swap VCEL coin for Bitcoin, or buy the accredited same amount and like store it in a treasury, right? So if it costs $10 a month, then we put $10, like let's say it costs $10 to start the relationship, or however much it is, right? Like $5, 10 cents, $2, whatever the relationship agrees to, right? Like it's gonna be their decision, not mine, right? I'm just building the tools, parameters to hopefully incentivize the relationship. It's their decision, right? Maybe this is what we do, right? They get a hold invoice for the same amount in Bitcoin, or we do the swap for them and keep the Bitcoin in some wallet or whatever, some treasury, and is equal 1-to-1 backed for VCEL coin. I'll figure out the tokenomics, but fuck all that for right now. Um, let's talk about how this whole thing actually makes sense. So let's say they agree to however much their relationship is worth. The relationship then goes on to build memories, right? Let's pick a new shape for memories, right? Here's a memory, right? And the memory is, it's going to be an ongoing thing. So this would happen like July 2nd. This would happen July 5th. They'd have a first date, first kiss, first time they hooked up or whatever, right? Like you could, and this is all privatized, by the way. So this is all behind a private deal for the relationship. But the couple themselves, we could positively incentivize for them to like record their relationship, right? So maybe you get one VCEL coin per memory or however much. I need to figure out all the technicalities of the tokenomics to make this all actually make sense. But let's say there's some positive incentivization for you to record your relationship, right? And not only that, but VCEL stakes. So maybe it's like staked VCEL token. Maybe that's what it is. So every memory that gets created, I would stake a VCEL token for them. So then by the time, they're done, they would have four of these tokens if they've hashed that many memories, versus some other relationship would have like, let's say just one token staked, right? So the staked VCEL token would be effectively how they're positively incentivized to stay together longer, because the longer they stay together, right? Let's say they do this for 10 years and there's thousands of tokens, right? Those thousands of tokens can now earn some interest rate of like 3% or 2% or whatever, the tokenomics end up being. But basically they're positively incentivized because the longer they stay, let's just ridiculously say it's 25%, just to, it'll never be this, but just to, drive the point home. The relationship would then be making, let's say, one VCEL coin a year. So they would get paid back one VCEL coin a year, right? Or $1. Let's call it $1, right? Versus the shorter relationship at the same interest rate would only make, 0.25 of this, right? So they would make 1/4 of the relationship that hashes all their data and stores all their memory, right? Because data is obviously valuable. They know that, we know that, but you're positively incentivized to use the platform And the more that you stake, and you can even maybe restake this, right? To make even more money on the next, go about of interest. Now, let's pretend that this money's all pooling up together, and a couple does this for years and years and years, right? And let's pretend they have a shitload of tokens. Let me get rid of all this shit, right? So a couple has a shitload of tokens. They're all working for them. They're getting some interest on it. And it's all backed by Bitcoin or something, or it's all VCEL coins are swapped 1-to-1 for Bitcoin. We'll have to get granular with the tokenomics there, but I've said that now like 100 times. But like, long story short, they would have the couple themselves, the man and woman who instantiated this relationship and generated all these memories together. They would effectively own this, right? VCEL doesn't own this. VCEL is going to be valuable just because it's VCEL, right? But like, the couple themselves would effectively own this pile of coins, right? This pile of money, this pile of value, right? Let's pretend it's worth $1 a coin, right? They now have also, when they built a relationship, they need to also have a relational contract, right? So this would be the key thing, right? So it would be quote unquote like transactional. It would be quote unquote like people like, wow, we're really this surface level now with our relationships, right? People would probably have something to say about it. But the answer is fuck yes. Are you kidding me? Do you see what the fuck is out here nowadays? Like, are you kidding? Yes, like, yes, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, are you out of your mind? Like, it is crazy out here. So yes, like, fuck yes. We're creating contracts, right? And in the contract, this will be baked in regardless of what people choose. But you should be able to add your own clauses of like, hey, what are the make and break parameters of a contract, right? Or a relationship. But if man fucks over woman, right? Woman keeps money. Period. If woman fucks over man, man keeps money. Period. Pretty fucking simple, right? So in basically, and the logic here would be anything of this. So the woman cheats on the man, man keeps the money. This is all the money for the man. It's relationship insurance, right? If the man fucks over the woman keeps all the money, period. Fucking period. And then vice versa, they stay together. This money can still be used to keep compounding and make more money. And then pull it out, sell it, do whatever you want with it. But there you go, right? Like the logic is actually very simple on that, right? Like, if you fuck someone over, you lose the money. All the money. Let's pretend it costs $10 a month to use VCEL. So every memory that the couple's now made, that's $10 here, $20 here, $30 here, $40 here, $50 here, so on and so forth, right? Like, and you effectively lose that money because I would make it like as effectively free to use as possible for me, right? Like I'll inherently make a shitload of money. Like I'm not too worried about that part. But the bigger part I'm worried about is fixing the problems in the world of like these terrible relationships, right? So this is just, it doesn't mean you can't break up with someone. It just means if you're a woman and you arbitrarily break up with a man, you're like, oh, well, I want to break up with them because it's Tuesday. Okay, that's awesome. You can do that, but you're losing this money. And let's pretend that you and your man decided to invest $100 a month into this relationship, or maybe $1,000 a month into this relationship. Shit, after a year or two, that might be 10, 20 grand. Who knows? Or, on the smaller end, if it's $10 a month, it might be $200. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? So like it needs to be enough where it makes people second think their decisions, but it needs to not be so much where people get in financial troubles. But like, that's VCEL in a nutshell, right? Because I basically want to just positively incentivize people to stay together longer, right? Now, vicariously, that makes VCEL coins go up. And, if that's the, natural incentive, here's the other bit. That there's all these other mechanisms you can do down the road. Let's say this man records and proves that this woman cheated on him. Now, if this woman wants to join the VCEL platform again, instead of her getting one VCEL token for her input, because we know she's a cheater, right? Or we know she's a bad person, maybe her value is only zero point 0.7 of a staked VCEL coin, right? So there's like certain mechanisms you could do to disincentivize. So people can still do it, but then when you go to date a woman and she doesn't want to share her history with you, that's totally fine. Doesn't have to, but if you want to get married, I would suggest like, hey, use that. Or in any legal case, we have all this information here, right? But if you see someone with this, you're like, you already know. You already know. Like, you can give them a chance, but like, if you see that, you might be like, okay, like now. However, if you see a woman like this with 1.5, like we positively incentivize people, that we know they're a good person, we know they've been in long-term relationships, or like maybe in their contract they mutually agree to split the money 50-50, and we know it was a successful relationship overall. Now independently, when you go through VCEL's catalog to see someone's Carfax, if you will, or the relationship Carfax, you now know like they're decently rated. You're like, oh, okay, like they're like a great relational partner because they have positive feedback, and they've got a good rating or whatever. And I know it sounds very social credity, and I know it sounds very like relationship credity, but like, why would you not? Like being honest, like the only reason why you wouldn't join this platform is because you're not a good person, right? If the idea is I'm trying to build mechanisms that positively incentivize good people, the only people who wouldn't join the platform are bad people, right? Like if you're in a relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, like I've been the one who's been great to people majority of the time, and I wouldn't make it so cut and like black and white of like 50-50. This person keeps all, that person keeps all. Like, there's probably going to be ways to make this dynamic based on situations, or like I said, if someone mutually agrees to split with somebody, they can both kind of, go their own ways, keep their own money, all that stuff. But in America, this is the rules in America. If man fucks over woman, woman keeps money. If woman fucks over man, woman still keeps money, right? Like that's the rules in America. So how the fuck is that fair? And it's not, you know what I mean? It's really not. So and then here's the rules in like, maybe like Iran or something, right? Like if man fucks over woman, man keeps money, right? If woman fucks over man, man keeps money, right? Like so that's not very fair either, right? So like the idea is we actually want a equitable and fair reset type of deal. And this company, by the way, is not based in US, so I'm not playing by US rules. I don't respect US dating dynamics at all. So yeah. So good luck with that, with all the girls who are like, oh, what, you're gonna like make it illegal to cheat? Yeah, fuck you. Like, yeah. Like, you can still cheat, like you still can, but you're just gonna lose this pot of gold right here. Like you can still break up with people. But like if a man wants to break up with a girl, like good, but like buy her a steak dinner on the way out. You know what I mean? At least she's crying at a 4-star or 5-star hotel eating good food, right? Like, like that seems like a better world to me, right? And then, overall people are held accountable at least a little bit to their relational decisions. You know what I mean? Like people are held accountable because you've got all this data here, and like I said, maybe from a public standpoint, because this man over here would let's say he and the girl breaks up, the girl keeps the money. This man now exists as a user in VCEL's platform. He's a single man in VCEL's platform, and and let's say the same thing for a woman, right? They don't have to share their history. They don't have to share their histories. Like they can still keep it private. But just as the man and woman get to know each other, right? Like maybe he could be like, yeah, I've had this relationship, I've had this relationship, I've had this relationship, right? Like it's been these 4 or 5 relationships, and maybe for her, she's like, yeah, I've had this one, this one, this one, and what's your like what's your like VCEL score? Oh, mine's like 1.2 or whatever, that it's 4 stars, and she's like, oh, that's awesome, like mine is 5 stars, like I get a 1.5x multiplier on my coins, or or whatever it ends up fucking being. I don't know if we're gonna make a multiplier, star rating or whatever, but the idea is like now these two people are like, oh shit, if we come together, like I mean, kind of a downgrade for the woman, but like 2x multiplier, or it's a downgrade on the multiple, but maybe an upgrade in the volume of coins, right? Like, so the new multiple, like for instance, if a woman invested single-handedly, she would have a 1.5x multiple, but she would only have like one coin effectively, or whatever coin she inserts. But now, if she gets in a relationship with this guy, because they're technically their average multiple would be 1.35x, but they can now invest twice as many coins. So, technically their pot would grow quicker because they have a larger initial investment. So, and for the guy, it's an upgrade. So the guy is now positively incentivized to be even better to the girl, right? So I think this is a good deal because this is like a great example. Like, there's a lot of really quality women out there who need to be respected, and honestly, would probably benefit from a situation like that where they have 2x multiple investments, um, and hopefully, a bit of a multiple on top of them being a good performing person, right? And the exact opposite is true. Let's say two bad people run into each other, right? We, and I've actually thought of this, like if I don't know how to establish this or not, but like if their investments come together, right, they're actually, right, if you multiply zero point 0.6 times zero point 0.5, oops, it's actually zero point 0.3. So them coming together, it's actually a really bad idea. It's like two toxic people coming together, right? It's like, man, like that's probably not the best deal to come together. And that's what their relationship would yield. So they're actually better off being alone. So hopefully this can kind of negatively incentivize bad people from like coming together. And I know that sounds kind of like a bit aggressive, right? Because from a lineage genetic standpoint, this is now getting a bit like archaic, and it's like, oh man, we're negatively incentivizing bad people to get together. But from like a human genetic standpoint, you're almost like, hold on, like, do you want bad people producing offspring? Do you want good people producing offspring? Like, you do. Okay, so you need to positively incentivize good people coming together, and you need to negatively incentivize bad people. Like, it's that simple. You know what I mean? Like, and and these are just ideas for it. I'm building this obviously in real time, very much with these series and episodes, but this is the inner workings of like my brain on VCEL, because I very much have been in these situations where like I probably am like, like maybe a 1.3x man, like, like a probably like above good, I'm not perfect, like I'm not 2x, but like, I'm probably pretty above average, when I've come to relationships. And sometimes I date these girls who are just terrible. And I wish I could see their history of like, or if they don't want to show me, I'm like, okay, now I know it. I'm dealing with, because you don't want to show me your history. You're not explaining your 0.5x multiple. Like I'm not gonna put my chips in with you. And I'm not gonna do this with you because I know the end from the beginning, right? So like I don't want to, like I don't want to pursue that, right? So, and then vice versa on the other side, like if there's girls like that, like they kind of, and I'm not trying to dog out a lot of women, because there's a lot of bad men too. I've just been frustrated recently. I mean, dating's been very abundant for me, but finding quality women, man, it's still in the States, man. Whoo, like the competition is so high for quality women. Like if you're a quality girl, you're getting scooped up immediately. Like, because if you know how to cook, clean, and you're a humble heart in America, jeez, you stand out like a sore thumb on both sides too. Like men too. Men are kind of falling apart a bit over here too. So um, that's why I'm moving to Middle East. But yeah, so this is VCEL in a nutshell. I think I think there's a lot of granularities and challenges with building something like this, because it's very novel. It's very it's new. It's almost transactionally feeling too. So I think there's probably going to be ways and things that I need to adjust the system to make sure it doesn't, get too far on one way. Like it would suck if the system was too perfectionist, where most people got those point 0.7, point 0.6 ratings when they're just actually good people. So finding that balance where, and then vice versa, you don't want to positively incentivize toxic people. Like that's one thing too. If somehow toxic people found a way to kind of get around the system, beat around the bush, and make their multiple higher than they deserve, I think that's a bad thing for the system as a whole. Um, and then further in the tokenomics, I think it would also be awesome to kind of give people a second chance, if they have a bad multiple, like, hey man, here's some things you can do to upgrade your shit to like get you back in the game and make you, good part. So then you can chat with people, hey, I used to be, such and such, I had such and such issues, but this is what I did to kind of combat that, and this is what I did to learn from that, and hopefully I'm a better person from it, right? Like, because that's the other thing, you kind of want to give second chances to people who kind of want them, right? Um, and that's a whole other deal that I got to figure out too within this mix. But this is the initial kind of inner workings of VCEL, and something I thought through for some years now, man. So it's like I need to just get it out of my brain and into reality. Otherwise, I'm going to drive myself insane. So yeah, but thanks for watching this with me, guys.